All right, now we're going to be looking at command execution. Okay, command execution is when something's running on a machine, such as in this ping for free, enter IP address below, and we're able to escape out of the pretty much the web interface there and be able to call to like a shell or be able to call to the actual system itself, right? So if I were to ping something like 127.0.0.1, we can see that if it decides to, yep, sure enough, it pinged, right? Let's try it one more time, 127.0.0.1. We can see that that does ping. It's obviously pinging 4 times, so I should probably give it a second. We see that it does ping, it pings itself, right? But how is that pinging, right? Because that looks an awful lot like if I were to come over here and type in ping 8888, right? Or something like that. Or it looks like maybe ping 88 taxi 3, right? That looks an awful lot like that, doesn't it? This ping command. So maybe it's actually running the shell and it's just outputting whatever it sees back on the web interface here. So if we can escape out of that, we could try to use a semicolon and do something like ID. All right, that worked. We can use a pipe, try something like ID. Okay, that works. We could try pipe ID. All right, that one works. There's different ways to be able to escape a shell, right? Remember, we are on easy like right now, so it's a little bit easier to escape the shell. But we can escape out of this web interface to talk to the actual program itself. So with this type of information, we can do something like ls-la. Oh, let me actually put a pipe in there. And we can start to look around the file source, right? We could also do something like /home, right? And we can see other users on here, MSF admin service. We can say cat etc password, right? And anywhere that this user www data is able to read, we can read it, right? So if we were able to read someone's private SSH keys, we can then utilize those to log in. If we're able to, if in etc password they actually had a hash in here, we can grab that hash now, right? And the company's none the wiser because we're just running the commands through the web browser here. All right, so we can also upload things usually with something like this. We can probably run a wget, and to be able to see this, first you always want to run a ping, just see if it can actually talk back to you. Let's go and run a ping. We'll do an ifconfig over here. And we have our 172.19.0.1, right? So let's go ahead and do a ping for that. And what we can do over here is we can run a TCP dump. And usually, the website will show us that it pinged or not, right? But what we actually want to do is we actually want to see, is it actually pinging back to us, right? If the website doesn't give us any information, then we can do a TCP dump, give it our interface name, and then tell it that we're looking for ICMP, right? Which is our ping protocol, right? If I enter there, it's listening like right now for ICMP, and we can go ahead and ping that. We'll hit submit, and we can see that yes, we can, from this web application, ping ourselves. So that means we can talk to us, right? 172.19.0.2 is pinging back to Cali. That's my machine, right? So that's great for us. So we'll go ahead and we'll stop this. We'll stop listening here. We'll go ahead and we'll stop that. All right. And we can see that we can do that, right? From the command injection, which means that we can also grab things from here. So let's go ahead and let's try to do something like we'll just grab a text file, right? So we got our user.txt file there, right? So we'll make a web server. Right now I have a web server up and running. So if I were to go to 172.19.0.1, we can see that I have a web server, right? And what I can do from here is I can say, hey, I want to wget http 172.19.0.1 / user, is it user or users? I already forget. Users / users.txt. And we can just try to save it like right here in this www data folder, right? We'll submit that. You see I do have that up and running over there. We'll see if it's actually going to wget it. We'll go ahead and we'll save this command just in case if it doesn't, then we can, in case we need to refresh or something like that. Looks like it's not really doing it like right now. May just need to refresh the page and try again. Resend. Looks like we may have broken the application, which is pretty normal whenever you're working with Docker, things like that. So let me get this back up and running. I'll get right back to you all. All right, and we see that we did actually get it. So I've put the command in there, right? It finally went through. And we see that we did pull it down. And we can see over here that 172.19.02 got users.txt. Now, what else can we do with this, right? How can we make this really bad, right? So let's go ahead and look at that lstack.la. Oh, let me go ahead and do a pipe, lstack.la. And we see that we have user.txt, user.txt now 1. We can also remove stuff, right? So we can take down the whole website if we want to. Users.txt star. And then we can go ahead and do a lstack.la again, and that's gone. But we also see this index.php. So we know what's running PHP. We know we're on Linux. All right, let's go ahead and do a quick present working directory. And we can see that we are in var www.dvwa var.abilities execute. Okay, well, what if I make a malicious PHP file and I upload it to it? Let's go ahead and see how that works. So what we could do is you can go ahead and locate shell.php. We can see this user shared web shells php reverse shell.php. So we're going to copy that over here. We're going to move that PHP shell, PHP reverse shell to, let's go ahead and copy that over to here, period. There we go. We'll move that guy to shell.php. That's going to make it easier for us to type in, right? So now if we do an lstack.la, shell.php should be in here. And let's go ahead and we'll nano it, sublime text it, whatever you want to do. But we'll go ahead and we'll look at that, and we'll do shell.php. Right? So now that we have the shell.php here, we can go ahead and we can type in our 172.19.0.1 as the IP address, and we'll listen on port 1234. That's fine. Now you notice that that's my local address, right? Let's go ahead and start up our Python server again. We'll come back over here, and we're going to get wget that shell.php file. And we see that we did get it, right? 172.19.0.2 did get it. We can do our lstack.la again, right? We can see that shell.php is in here. So now let's go to it. Let's put our listener on, which we saw that on our shell.php file. We had a listener on 1234. So we can go ahead and listen utilizing netcat on port 1234. And let's go to shell.php. And we see that we get a callback from the web server, and now we are actually inside that web server itself. So we are the user www data inside that web server, and we are now connected through that PHP reverse shell. And anytime we want to reconnect, we can just go to that site and be able to connect back in. So that's one extremely dangerous thing that you can do with something like command injection. All right, you can run any command you want, right? And whatever that user is allowed to do, such as in www data, which usually they are allowed to write to var www.html, since they're allowed to write there, we can then drop in our payloads into there, call for them through the web, and be able to get our reverse shell through there. So hopefully you all learned something, and I will talk to you all later.